Ford's Fiesta is once more a real state-of-the-art supermini. Mind you, with 12 million Fiestas already sold across the world, the latest model has a lot to live up to, and it's been carefully designed to succeed. It's lighter, yet stiffer, greener and cheaper to run. It's also safer and better to drive. This car represents Ford's future in more ways than one. Ford's Fiesta lineage goes back to 1976, and over all those years one thing has remained constant. This is a car that has always signalled the health of the supermini sector. It was always there or thereabouts when buyers were drawing up their shortlists, and it was usually the best car in its class to drive by some margin. The last 6th generation model was again a great steer, but it lacked the top quality cabin of some of the best cars in its sector. This 7th generation car looks to have covered all those bases. So jump in and drive the new Fiesta. What's it like? Well, probably your first feeling is that it's much more comfortable at the wheel these days. You've got improved seating and a much nicer steering wheel, which is now reach and rake adjustable. Peace of mind comes with the news that this is the first Ford small car to feature a driver's knee airbag, and that goes as well as the standard side airbags and optional curtain airbags. On the road, well, my feeling is that this car has a more solid feel now, even though it's 40 kilograms lighter than the old model. Electrically assisted power steering makes its debut in this Fiesta, and while that might set some enthusiasts groaning, the truth is that the technology behind these kind of systems has really come on leaps and bounds over the last few years, and the feeling that you get is no longer the kind of PlayStation light feel that you used to get with these kind of systems. I particularly like the stall prevention feature, designed to alter the engine's ignition profile in low-speed manoeuvres and prevent that embarrassing stalling moment when there's a queue of traffic behind you. So you're designing a small car. Which way do you go? Do you go for something sporty, low-slung, dynamic, but ultimately not very practical, or something boxy, very practical and ultimately rather dull? Well, this Ford gets as close as any small car I've seen to achieving the best of both worlds, and if you go by the maxim that what looks right is right, then you should like this latest Fiesta. Both 3 and 5-door models are available, and both are tidy pieces of styling. It was penned by a British team headed up by ex-Audi man Martin Smith, and it adheres to Ford's favourite kinetic design style, favoured for most of its current models. You've got these wrap-around front headlamps, these bold, pronounced wheel arch lips, and a dynamic belt line that goes up the length of the car, giving it a sporty look even when it's stationary. The rear end features huge light clusters that smear around onto the flanks of the car, freeing up space for a very wide boot aperture. At the front, you've got a sliver of a grille sitting just above a wide trapezoidal air intake. The fascia is radically different to what has gone before. The twin-cowled instrument cluster, the boldly jutting centre console with its winged effect for minor instruments. It's all a world away from the somewhat utilitarian grey plastics of this car's predecessor. Ford's mobile phone-inspired Converse Plus infotainment system is also offered as an option. There's reasonable, if not outstanding, stowage space, the boot capable of swallowing 295 litres with all the seats in place, and there are ingenious storage compartments dotted around the cabin, including charging points for mobile phones and MP3 players. Now, access to the rear is a lot easier than it was in the old car, and that makes getting children in and out that much more straightforward. Like most superminis, the price range runs from around £8,500 to around £12,500. Engine choices start with the 60 PS 1.25 litre Duratec petrol unit that I've got here, or you've got the 90 PS 1.4 litre version of that engine. Above that, there's the familiar, rather leisurely 1.4 litre TDCi diesel with 68 PS. But above that level, things start getting a bit more interesting. Now, Ford have been doing a bit of work on the 90 PS 1.6 litre TDCi diesel Duratorque unit, and the result is that you can now get it in e-kinetic form. Now, what that means is that here you've got a car which emits just 99 grams per kilometre of CO2, and that makes it exempt from UK road fund licence liability. It also makes other superminis look like lumbering 4x4s in comparison. At the other end of the lineup, Ford is keen to reassure driving enthusiasts that it hasn't forgotten them either, with the introduction of a 120 PS 1.6 litre TVCT petrol power plant that makes rest to 60 in 9.9 seconds and is used in plusher variants like the sporty Z-Tech S model. At the top of the range, the plushless models are specced up like Christmas trees, but retail at the kind of money that would buy you a significantly larger car. Less, as so often, is more. Anyway, even entry-level Fiestas come with features like ABS, front, side and knee airbags, electric mirrors, central locking and a CD player. I particularly also like this easy fuel capless refuelling setup here. Now, most potential super mini buyers have got better things to spend their money on than running a car. And Ford's Fiesta over the years has garnered a reputation for being extremely strong when it comes to cost of ownership. It's vital for cars in this sector. Ford reckon that the improvements made in engine efficiency with the latest model will save owners up to a tank full of fuel a year. If, for example, you're in the 1.4 TDCi diesel, that's 9,300 miles, 45 litres, that's kind of calculation. Now, that's going to be very tempting to somebody who's got a small family. Insurance premiums and repair costs have been kept low by an intelligent approach to manufacturing. Bake-hardened steel on the front wings, for example, offers better resistance to low-speed parking, scrapes and dents. But I can't help thinking that the plastic approach favoured by other manufacturers offers a better solution. Still, you've got nice design touches everywhere. The headlamps and the tail lamps are all positioned high up, well out of harm's way, while there are specially developed crash can sections which are designed as sacrificial parts that collapse predictably in an accident, preventing more extensive damage and higher repair costs. Pence per mile running costs are broadly similar to those of, say, rivals like Vauxhall's Corsa and Renault's Clio across the Fiesta range. The one exception I pick out is the e-kinetic model. Now, aside from its headline-grabbing sub 100 grams per kilometre CO2 figure, that's unique in the class, this car returns a highly impressive 61.3 miles to the gallon around town, 76.3 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle, and a frankly astonishing 88.3 miles to the gallon on the open road. The e-kinetic is also the cheapest way into the 1.6 litre TDCi diesel engine. So what's not to like? This Fiesta may not be the largest car in its sector, but on just about every other count it's either up there or class leading, which makes a change from the relative mediocrity of the previous model. It at last has cutting-edge looks and a decent cabin, plus the e-kinetic version shows other makers just how green a compact yet practical runabout like this can be. Overall, a pragmatic mix between tried and tested elements that are cost-effective and shiny new details that gel extremely well. Small car buyers simply can't afford to ignore this car.